Hi, everyone, and thank you for watching this recording, Housing Tips from International Graduate Students. My name is Felipe Martinez. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the Executive Director for CIRCLE, the Center for International Relations and Cultural Leadership Exchange at the University of Washington. So this is one of the many webinars that you'll be able to watch during summer to help you prepare for your transition to the University of Washington. So first, again, congratulations on your admission to the University of Washington, and you must be really excited to join us in Seattle. But when you're moving to a new place, you're going to be looking for a place to live. So this is the reason why we have this webinar, to be able to help you kind of like understand what is it like to find a place in Seattle, what are some of the things that you should be keeping in mind when looking for a place, and what better way that to share that information than actually listening to your peers. So we have 3 current international graduate students that will be able to share their experience on what it was like to find a place, and what are some of the things that they wish they knew before they got to Seattle. So to get started, I'm gonna give our panelists a time to introduce themselves. So how about Claudia, if we start with you, if you could tell us your name, your pronouns, your home country, and the program that you're studying at the University of Washington.
Of course. Hi, everyone. So my name is Claudia. My pronouns are she, her, ella. I am from Colombia, and I'm a second-year doctoral student in the Language, Literacy, and Culture program in the College of Education.
Thank you, Claudia. Pei-Shing?
Hi, everyone. My name is Pei-Shing. I use she, her pronoun. I'm from China. I'm currently in my second year doing a master program in public administration.
Thank you, Pei-Shing. And last but not least, Ajay.
Hi everyone, I'm Ajay Kumar and I'm from India. My pronouns are he/him. And I'm currently a graduate student at the University of Washington majoring in electrical engineering. And this is actually my first year in Seattle. So very excited about this and looking forward to meeting you all.
Okay, thank you, Ajay. See, and that's a perfect segue to the first question that I have. So all of you were, back home or somewhere else before arriving in Seattle, you got accepted to the University of Washington, and now it's time to look for a place, right? So let's start thinking about that particular time when you're looking for a place. So the first question that I have for you is, what were your initial criteria, or like the things that you were looking for in an apartment in Seattle? So Claudia, how about if we start with you?
Sounds good. So looking for a place was a time-consuming process. I used this Facebook UW housing page that I found. And I think by reading what people were offering, in terms of information and perks for apartments, that started giving me ideas of what I wanted. So definitely budget was one of them. Seattle is not a cheap place to live in, so budget was something that I started considering, not just rent, but thinking about utilities and how high or low the prices would be depending on the season of the year. Also, the number of people living in a house, I found there's houses for 10 people and houses for 3 people. And I'm like, I don't think I can share a house with more than 2 people. So definitely number of people living in a house. And proximity to the university was also very important to me. I didn't want to be too far from the university. I'm very picky about having a private space, so having a private bathroom, that was non-negotiable. So I definitely knew I was not willing to share my bathroom with someone else. So that also sort of influenced the number of people I wanted to live with, because having a private bathroom was something that a factor I considered. And from that search, I also started paying attention to house rules. So can I bring people over to the house? Because if I made friends, I wanted to be able to just bring some people and cook for them or whatever. Are parties allowed in the house? Because if people are partying all the time, then I'm not going to be able to focus on my studies and everything that I needed to do. So sort of I would say those were the main things I paid attention to as I continued hunting a house to live.
Thank you, Claudia. How about you, Pei-Shing? How was your search looking like?
Yeah, I would echo with what Claudia said, like budget and location, proximity to campus were really important to me. Seattle's, I would definitely say on the expensive side, especially after COVID is getting more expensive. Like one thing that I didn't know was like every year the rent could increase. So just keep that in mind and maybe don't pick something that's just immediately on the top end of your budget, I would say, because there's also utility and every year the rent's gonna go up. So those were pretty important. I know I won't be able to handle roommate in graduate school because I try to go to bed early and have a slightly different schedule than most people who are night owls. So after judging all the criteria, I decided to live somewhere a little further from campus, but then I will have my own studio. Of course, besides location, the other thing is I Googled extensively about the transportation options I might have if I'm gonna live not within walking distance of campus, what that commute might look like, and how much time it might take for me to go to school if I have 3 classes in a day, or if I have 2 back-to-back, what might that look like? So I think picking somewhere that's very close to both light rail and bus stops are pretty important criteria for me, and make sure my apartment is within walking distance to public transportation. Also the quietness of the area, like I'm not a big party person, so I voted Capitol Hill completely out of my search criteria because Capitol Hill is none of the fancy nightlife places of entire Seattle, and I know I wouldn't be able to have some quiet sleep there, so I decided to not look at those places. So just, I think, consider your own lifestyle and what might best work for you in that case.
Thank you, Pei-Shing. How about you, Ajay?
Yeah, so I've when I start, like the key thing is to start early. So for coming here in September, I actually started my search in, I think, end of April or mid-May or something like that. And like you guys said, budget was a big deal for me. So I had taken student loans and had to have a very limited budget. So I wasn't very particular about finding a place very close to the university, and I was fine with traveling. So you can, when you're looking for places away from the university, you can definitely look for, like if it's close to any bus routes or the link rails. So that, like, even if you look for a place near the university, you might take a 10 or 15-minute walk. But the same thing, if you take a bus, it might be a 10 to 15-minute ride, or by the link rail, just 5 or 10 minutes. So that is one thing you can definitely look into. And the other thing was, like, initially it was just me and my college mate. He's my close friend, and we were planning to look for either a studio apartment or a 2-bedroom apartment. But the price was like a bit high, and the apartment reviews were not that good. Like for most of the apartments listed on Craigslist or Zillow. So what we did was, this might be a little bit different than what Claudia and Pexin said, but we gathered a lot of housemates. We got in touch with other incoming students, and we formed a group of 5. And instead of renting an apartment, we just rented an entire individual house. So we have our own space, our own room, and we are actually paying, each of us are paying less than $700. And it's like, if we take the bus, it's just 15 to 20 minutes. And the other thing is, you might have to look into the lease. Like Claudia had mentioned, you have to definitely read the lease a lot, because there might be some hidden things. And if the longer you take the lease, the lesser the rent would be. But you can't always expect that you would like the neighborhood very much. Sometimes it might not be, like there might be a lot of homeless people where the security might take a hit. So what we did was, we looked for anything like any other big things near our place. So we found we found a school near us. So the security was not in question at all, since our place is just opposite to the school. So I think you should also take security as a major factor in moving in. Yeah.
So thank you, Ajay. So all 3 of you mentioned different things, right? So for example, Pei-Shing, it was very important for you to live by yourself. Jay, you mentioned that you landed a house with a group of students, and Claudia, you're more or less like in between, right? So it just it shows the different preferences and different things that our students are looking for. You also mentioned neighborhoods, you mentioned security, budget, all the different things that you took into account. So that was what you were looking for. Now, the biggest question is, did you actually find the place that met all of your criteria? Or did you have to compromise or change things as you were trying to secure a place? So the question is, what you were looking for, is you ended up what you lived in your first year? Or if so, how, if it was different, how so? So Pei-Shing, how about if we start with you?
Okay, I think I spent a lot of time on housing, roughly like 2-3 months before I finally landed a place. So when I actually saw, and I saw the place via video call with an agent too before I decided to sign the lease, which was very helpful. So I think my house mostly matches my criteria. It's in Roosevelt neighborhood, pretty quiet, a studio. The only downside is like it's very small, but that was something I could compromise with. And bonus part is there's laundry in the room, so that was also really nice, something I didn't mention earlier. I think it'll be kind of challenging to have to go to a laundromat at night and trying to find it in neighborhoods, so that was a nice plus that I wasn't also initially thinking in my criteria. So I think overall it worked out really well, but the rent, my budget of course was a little bit more than what I would expect to pay for it, but it's Seattle, so.
Yeah, thank you, Pashina. That's important, right? Sometimes, the city might be more expensive than we think, so there might have to be some compromise in the budget component. Thank you, Pei-Shing. How about you, Ajay?
Yeah, like I mentioned, like most of the things we were able to tick it off, but one thing was we couldn't it's like these quarter starts in end of September over here in the University of Washington, but our landlord was very particular about starting the lease in August itself. So the way it looked, like we had to pay like at least one to 1.5 months of rent without actually being here at all. So we had to have a very extensive like back and forth with him, and finally we just he agreed, like he would block the apartment for just 1/3 of August month's price. And then that was one big thing that we were not able to like get out of. And the other thing was like we expected it to be furnished a little bit, like at least to an extent, but it was not to be. We had to find like everything from either Amazon or like the landlord was not of much help when it come to furnishing the apartment. So those were the two things that we had to compromise on. But other than that, like I think it was a nice deal. Yeah.
Okay. And Ajay, that's a very good point, right? That sometimes landlords are very set on when the lease has to start. And then if students don't take it, then they might give it to someone else. So that's a very good point. And then furnishing, we'll talk about that in a bit. Claudia, how about you?
So I think in my case, the place matched my criteria. I think the only thing is that there were no clear rules about like housekeeping. So you would find dirty dishes in the sink and that would drive me crazy. Or I would buy groceries and then I would try to make something and my food was gone from the fridge because like someone took it in. So that's like, I guess what that taught me is that we needed to have like some sort of house agreements to avoid that, like to prevent that from happening, and like sort of like setting my boundaries, like this is something I'm not willing to, like this is food from Colombia, I'm not sharing it with you unless I make it for you, so just don't touch this, but anything else you can take. And I know one of my housemates, she actually left the house after 6 months because like, you're eating my food, I don't want this, I don't want you to share it, like to take my stuff. So just like having those basic agreements, I think that's very important when you're living with other people. So just make sure that you just say what you're comfortable with, like the expectations you have for like cleanliness and stuff, because I know it works for many people. Like many of my friends just live with many people and they're happy in those conditions because they have very clear rules. So I guess that's something that I wasn't like really thinking about. And also I really like somewhat related to something Pei-Shing mentioned is that my housemates at the time, they were undergraduates, and they would just go to sleep at 4 a.m. and they would be just laughing and playing. And at 4 a.m., I was like 2 hours away from waking up. So I would be like trying to sleep. And so I had to talk to them like, look, this is just not working for me. I'm not getting any sleep, and just working on those house rules when you're communicating, like when you're living with other people. So just, I guess, communication, like skills, those, like that's something very important when you're sharing your space, because you don't want to be miserable every day. But I like living with other people. I like building that community. So I didn't want to give up that. So I just started making sure that we all agreed on stuff. So yeah, I think that's like something I didn't think about that much when I thought about sharing a place, but then learned in the way that I needed to just set clear boundaries as well.
Thank you, Claudia, for that. And that having those clear boundaries are very important, whether you know the people before moving in or not, right? Because being a friend with someone, you don't necessarily have to talk about dishes until you actually live with them, right? So that's a very good point. Thank you for that. And actually, that's a great segue into the next question that I have for the three of you. So, you know, you did your search, you found things that were aligned or might not necessarily be aligned. Like Ajay mentioned, there were some compromises that they had to do. So I'm wondering, when it comes to finding a place in Seattle, what tips do you have for students that are about to embark in that search? And Ajay, how about we start with you?
Oh, yeah, sure. So the main thing I would suggest is you have to start early. So it's definitely very important. And also, even if you find a place that you like, either on Zillow or Craigslist, you definitely have to check out the reviews on Google. And if you get a chance, you can definitely talk to one of the people, one of the house renters over there. They definitely would have more experience, like of living, like whether the landlord is helpful or how the company, the renting company is. And also, you can compromise on the proximity to the campus a little bit, as long as you're staying in a bus route or a link rail point. So I think those are the main things that you should take into account. And also you should read the lease a lot. So like I think Claudia mentioned it before, like you definitely have to look for some hidden expenses. Like in my case, my landlord would be charging us at least $40 if he comes to our place for any repairs or something, if we call him. So we actually didn't know that when we signed the lease. So every time he comes, we have to pay him $40. So you definitely have to look into it. And also, like, unless you are very sure about this place, you shouldn't sign a 12-month lease, and you should go for a shorter option. So I think those are the things that you should take into account. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Claudia?
Yeah, I totally agree. I really have this like underline, do not commit to a long-term lease unless you're already familiar with the place and you're there and you're living there and you know you like it and you like the people you're living with or the area. So definitely just pay attention to the lease. Do not commit to a long-term, because breaking a lease is not as simple. So, and I think something, and it's sort of like somewhat related to something Beijing mentioned as well, like living farther from the university allows you to live in like bigger spaces at a lower price, but living closer to the university would give you like smaller places with higher rates. So just, you know, figure out what would make you the happiest and just go for it. Like, so if you are close to transportation, like everyone has mentioned, then, and you're happier living in a bigger place, then definitely that's something that you want to consider. And I feel like just something else that I would advise is you really weigh pros and cons of like living with other people or living by yourself. I know for many, like for some of my friends, they started living by themselves and they're like, I really cannot do this. Like I feel lonely. I feel like I'm not building a community. Like I'm really not organized or disciplined with my schedules or with eating. Living with other people would give you that. But some other people like Beijing would be like, no, I really need my quiet area. I don't want to, you know, negotiate communal spaces or anything. So what is it that would make you the happiest according to your personality, according to, you know, like what would make this experience the best for you, and just weigh in those options and go for it.
Thank you, Claudia. Beijing?
Yeah, I think Ajay and Claudia mentioned some really good tips. I think at this point, I know I wouldn't be able to live with roommate because I had 6 years of living with roommates and I kind of know what works and what doesn't work. But I think at the beginning, it can be very hard to know what really works for you in terms of your lifestyle and whether your lifestyle really mesh with other people's lifestyle. So it doesn't hurt to try something if you feel like that might work for you, but just maybe don't immediately commit it to like a 12-month or even longer lease if you're living with someone or living by yourself for the first time, so that give you some flexibility to change if that needs to be. Also, if you do have a chance, I would suggest you at least try to start some kind of video call to get familiarized with the area, or look on Google Street View even. That's a good way to explore the neighborhood. Reach out to some people if you like from Facebook groups or WhatsApp or other chatting service if they have already lived in the area, just to kind of get the vibe of what the neighborhood might be is really helpful too, on top of searching for the apartment you like. If you have time, maybe if you have a lot of time prior to arriving, what you can do is maybe rent an Airbnb or hotel first and just do a walk around and tour around of your apartment before really committing to it without actually seeing it. So yeah, if you can do that, that would be really helpful, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Patient. So, and this, you mentioned a lot of, all three of you, that many different things, right? Like technology, not only in terms of like not physically, but virtually being able to look at the apartment, but also look at the reviews, right? Or like, what are some of the reviews? And it's just total, so many different things that are very important. And then what I appreciate about all three of you is that you describe very different living situations, that are important, but also a common theme across all three of you has been the distance, those impact price in terms of the campus. And then sometimes, like if you want to be able to wake up and walk to class, then you might have to be ready to pay a little more for a smaller space. Whereas like Ajay and Patient mentioned, if you go a little further out, you might get more of the things that you want, but you don't necessarily have to, that you have to get on a bus, right, to be able to come to campus. So thank you all for those great answers. So now to switch gears a little bit, you found a place, you have the keys, you have moved in, and now you need furniture, right? You need a bed, you need a sofa, you need a TV, different things to make this new place your home. So Claudia, how about we start with you? What's the process that you went through to furnish your apartment or your first place? And are there any websites or stores that you recommend students use?
Yeah, so I'm going to start by saying I wish I knew what I know now, because I wouldn't have spent, I would say, like not $1 on stuff to furnish my room. So starting was really hard. I came, like the house was furnished, but my bedroom wasn't. So my housemates just lent me this mattress and I would just sleep on it for a week until I started like figuring out that moving, like transportation for stuff, like in Colombia, you just find someone really cheap who has a small truck and brings stuff from a place to your place and like for no money. But here is like, no, if you want that, you have to rent a U-Haul and you have to have a driver's license and it's going to be expensive. And so at the beginning, it was a nightmare. So what I want to share with you is like, I wish I knew about these places. There's in every neighborhood, there's a Facebook group called Buy Nothing. And it's a cool community in neighborhoods because they don't want things to end in the like landfill. And you can find things that you don't even think about. Like my super comfortable computer chair is like almost brand new and I got it from that webpage. I didn't have to pay for it because the way it works is that you in your neighborhood just enter the Facebook group and people offer stuff that they don't need anymore, that they bought and forgot to return, or that it's like gently used or whatever. From a bed to a sofa to a fridge to a light bulb, you name it, they like someone probably has it in a Facebook group and just wants to get it away and not have it in their place. And sometimes, like even for transportation, like if you have a bed that someone's selling you very cheap because you whatever, and you don't know how to get it from that place to yours, you can ask in that Buy Nothing Facebook group, like, is there someone with a truck who can please help me get this place, like this stuff from this place to here? And it's all free because it's about building community in your neighborhood and not creating like more trash and stuff. So I wish I had known about that place before, because then I wouldn't have slept on a mattress for a week without knowing like where to find stuff. Because again, like budget is always something. If you add like transportation and whatever, then it's like a lot more expensive than you probably anticipate that you will be paying for. And also, I mean, this is like not advertisement whatsoever, but the store called Dollar Tree, oh my God, you find everything for $1 just to start, like, you know, cleaning supplies, kitchen supplies, like anything you need, everything is $1. So instead of going to a store and just buying, I don't know, a broom for $10, you go to Dollar Tree and buy it for $1. And so you furnish your, like your place in a very cheap way. So I guess those are two things that I really wanted to share with people. I wish I had known this from the very beginning.
Thank you, Claudia. Great resources right there. Pei-Shing?
Yeah, I've used Buy Nothing Community a few times too. They're really great. It's just sometimes the listing are really competitive, meaning like you have one listing and there will be 20, 25 comments be like, please consider, I would like this. So you may not always get it. And on top of that, I would also go to Craigslist. It's such a old school website, but it works, and a lot of people are selling furniture and buying furniture from there. As long as, I guess the only thing that would be a word of caution is maybe don't meet someone in the evening or after dark to pick up some kind of lamps or bed or whatever, because that can be somewhat dangerous. But if you're meeting, essentially if you're picking up from a stranger's house about some furniture in the middle of the day, especially in the neighborhood that you feel comfortable with, it should not be a problem. And usually people just want to get rid of their furniture. So they're listed at a much more reasonable price than what you would buy new, and mostly gently used secondhand furniture on there. And you can find even modems and old computer monitors and stuff on there. Tricky thing is, if you don't have a car, it can be difficult to pick it up. So sometimes if people are nice, you can ask them if they're willing to deliver for a fee for you. Or if you do know how to drive or can drive in the States, you can rent a car or rent a U-Haul to buy and pick up everything at once. That would be good. On top of Craigslist and Buy Nothing, then maybe Amazon is helpful if you don't mind buying something new, like mattress. That's kind of important to buy new, because it's hard to pick a good one secondhand. So Amazon will deliver if you buy it from online. Other big places or large retail stores will probably help you deliver too if you buy from their website directly. So there's that. IKEA, however, I don't really recommend their delivery because their delivery is kind of slow. If you can go to their store and pick up, that would be a much faster way to do it, but it's far from campus.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Pei-Shing. Thank you for the reminder about safety. And another thing that folks can do if they're picking up from someone that they don't know is to bring a friend, right? And then there's safety in numbers in that regard. Thank you for that. Ajay, how about you?
Yeah, Claudia and Mixon made actually really good points. So definitely you should check out like VFP Marketplace. Like most of the stuff you would require to furnish your room, if someone would definitely have posted it, even if it's not for nothing, it would be at a very competitive price than buying it from Amazon or Walmart. So I actually like they said, if I had known this when I came here, I would have spent a lot less than what I actually spent. I actually bought most of my stuff from Amazon or Target, and also Dollar Tree is a really good option if you're looking for smaller items to fill in your rooms, because everything is literally $1 over there. Yeah. And also the thing is, for us, the FB Marketplace was not a very big option because we were living a little bit far from the university, and most of the listings were near the university. So we definitely had to rent a car to get this stuff. So that's why we also went with the Amazon option. But you can always rent a car. You can drive around US without a US driver license if you have a license from your home country. So you can definitely rent a car and also visit neighborhoods and then pick the stuff on the way. Yeah, and also like look for the listings on FB Marketplace. Like we actually literally got sofas for free, and it was, but the only downside is you have to travel to take it, and they most probably won't be delivering it to your place. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So a lot of really good stuff there. So just for the folks that are listening, as part of the description of the webinar, we're going to have links to, kind of give you a description. You heard a lot about neighborhoods, right? But you might not necessarily have an idea what the neighborhoods are. So Pei-Shing mentioned Roosevelt, someone mentioned the U District. So what does that really mean? So there's going to be links that are going to be giving you a description of what the neighborhoods, and then based on what you read, that could potentially help you figure out where to go. And then hopefully you put into account, so you put into practice some of the great tips that the students have shared with you, so that way you make more informed decision of where to live and based on the neighborhood that you like. So my final question for the three of you. So we talked about different things, right? We talked about furnishing, we talked about safety, we talked about access to transportation, different things that students might need to take into account when looking for a place. But I want to kind of like leave that as the last question also, in case you want to emphasize something. So what are some of the things that students need to keep in mind? We're looking for a place to live in Seattle. So Pei-Shing, how about you?
So it's like advice I would give for people who are just, I feel like my previous comment have captured a lot of that advice already, but definitely start early. And I think safety, it can be important to think about, even though it's kind of hard to tell that from online map and Google search, and sometimes so I would say maybe if you know someone that's already in the area, then just like ask them those questions about how safe they feel if they're walking home past a certain hour, or if they are taking the bus at day or taking the bus at night, because I feel like those are not the things that you would easily get from just like an online database. I went to the extent as to searching the crime map, but I think that's gonna scare most of people if you actually dig into the data, and it's not as scary as that was shown. So but definitely ask someone you trust, and if you can and and even utilizing the resources at school if you feel unsafe, to consider those into your housing option too. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Pei-Shing. Ajay?
Yeah, so I would also take look at security, like it's really important, and because it's really important to stay in a secure neighborhood. And also, if you know someone, you should definitely ask them to visit the neighborhood and visit the place to see how good it is and whether it actually fits the description. And also, if you're okay with being a little bit away, you should definitely check out the bus routes and the link rail routes, and if you're close to it. And yeah, and if you're fine with sharing, I definitely would recommend connecting with fellow incoming students, because honestly, living with 5 people, it was actually a really good experience for me. But it can't be the same for everyone, so it's better to connect online and have a 2-3 calls with them, learn about how they live, and whether you you match what you do on weekends. They also should have the same mindset, so that you can have a really good experience. And yeah, I think those are the important things that you should consider if you're looking for places in Seattle. Yeah.
So thank you. Claudia?
Yeah, I would say like building up that Ajay, like really finding people that you feel would be a good match for you and for your personality, and sort of like habits and like rules um and like I think most importantly, just like what is it that would make you your happiest? Just living with people, living by yourself, and what are some things that you're not willing to negotiate, that you know like, oh, this place is amazing, it's the right price, but because you're going to be living there and you're going to be having to focus really hard on assignments and and thinking and doing stuff, waking up miserable in the middle of the night because your housemates are being loud, that damages not just that day but the next one. So you don't want that. You really want to make sure that whatever it is that you're not willing to compromise, then that's all covered, in the house, in like the housing situation that you're looking for. Definitely close to transportation. When it's cold, you don't want to be walking too far from a place to another. And it rains in Seattle, so it's also not so fun if you're thinking about just like biking to a place. Just definitely like a direct bus line or a place close to university definitely is a factor that you should consider.
Thank you all. That was amazing. And then, like I definitely learned a lot of stuff myself. So I'm sure the students, that are coming and might not be as familiar with Seattle will definitely get a lot of information. One thing also to point out to folks that are listening, you heard our panelists talking about the lease, potentially hidden fees. So as a complement to this webinar, we're also going to have another webinar that is hosted by Student Legal Services, which is a department of the University campus, a free service to students, that will kind of like give you the mechanics of a lease. What are some of the things that you need to pay attention to, but also understanding your rights as a tenant. So those two have been purposely separated because one, the purpose of this is to hear from your peers, what are the things that they took into account to be able to find housing. But once you find that housing, then kind of like reading that lease or reading that contract to making sure that you're taken care of.
Felipe, can I add something?
Sure.
I just remembered something. I don't know why I think like I didn't think about it before, but it's so important. In my experience, just living in a basement or something, like the construction in Seattle or like in this, I don't know if it's you hear absolutely everything. You hear the person on top of you taking a shower, waking up, kids running. I always knew something I would never do was live on someone's basement or like underneath like some floor, because that drives me crazy. So if that's your case, just make sure it's not light, like you really hear absolutely everything that is happening above you. So just know that, and if noise drives you crazy, do not choose a place like that.
I think Pei-Shin, you struck a chord with her. Go ahead, Pei-Shin.
Yeah, I really echo with what Claudia said, and sometimes it's not just the floor above you, or it's also the floor right next to you too, because the walls are really thin. So if you don't like noise, just really consider who your neighbor is, and also how far you're away with your upper floor and the floor below. The other thing I forgot that's kind of Seattle specific is Seattle gets really dark in winter and there's not enough sunlight. So if you're consider living in a basement, I say reconsider that choice, because you might feel really miserable in winter because of the lack of light coming in from your window. Like I specifically, one thing that was in my criteria was to make sure to pick a room with a really large window facing west or south. So I make sure I can get enough sunlight when I'm staying indoors most of the time in winter. So that's something to consider.
Thank you both for bringing that up, because that is important, right? It's being aware of the construction, but also what the light and all of that. So that will be it for our webinar. Thank you so much for listening. And like I said at the beginning, this is part of the different webinars the Circle will be hosting to making sure that you are well informed before getting on the plane to get to Seattle, and to help you with your transition as a new Husky. So hopefully you watch all of the webinars. And if you have any questions about this or any other webinars that you watch, please email us at uwcircle@uw.edu. and we look forward to seeing you in fall. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.